So kind of go back. You said something that I wanted to circle back around to, and it was kind of where you guys were still, which is super impressive, even over 300. But then being able to push that all the way up over 900. But you were really concerned about protecting the culture that you guys have built. Can you kind of explain and unpack what that means and what it meant to you?
Yeah, at the time, like culture to me is like having you walk in a room and you feel really good and everybody's accepting and it's hip, it's you're learning. There's just so many different elements. And I feel like there's people that I would sit in front of when I was cold calling, if you're going back to that example, is like they were just they were a drain and a drag sometimes. I felt like that was the people that were sitting across from me. And for me to bring somebody in and them do that, it can be a cancer to the whole group, right? And so I'm really protective of that. I'm really, really protective of that in my group at EXP because we do a lot of in-person stuff. And so the culture to me is like, I want people to really want to be a part of it. And then I want them to also like I have a ton of awesome leaders within my group at Connect and Cultivate where they want to show up and they want to show up regularly and teach and pour into my culture because of how I've built it, right? And so I feel like that's kind of, I don't know, I hope that I answered your question.
Yeah, no, yeah, really just kind of what does culture, mean to you? And I think you did a good job at articulating that. You said something there, people are excited to show up.
hmm
And what makes them so excited to show up?
Because they always are building connections that further them in their business and their life. I mean, it could definitely goes outside of business. Like I see these relationships form within my group where all of a sudden like two people are going out together on the weekend and they're hanging out and like it and they are helping each other in their business. So it's kind of that's like a big deal for me too.
No, and I think too, you mentioned something in there that they also come in and have an opportunity to not only receive but also to give,
Yes.
and being able to collaborate and know that they can come in and have a platform within your community to have a voice as well.
Yeah, I have two of my like one of the top agents in the East Valley in Arizona, two of them that show up every single Thursday and they do like a deep dive on the market reports. And so I'm not, again, it's like something that I'm not good at, but they're freaking excellent at. So they show up every week for the Connect and Cultivate community and they are doing that and they're committed to doing that and they're committed to doing it because they love the group and it's an opportunity for them to become a person of interest to grow their own organization, you know?
No, I love that. I think there's something to be said, and maybe a little underlying nugget here for everybody listening in that will listen to this in the future is that if you're struggling building a community, making sure that you're getting people to intertwine, to interact, to collaborate, and to share their gift, right? Their uniqueness. And I think a lot of people, Kristen, struggle with that because they feel that they've always got to be the center of attention and the
Yeah,
one that's always adding the value. And that's so hard. It's so
it's
hard to
so
be able to
hard.
do.
Yeah, I've kind of, I mean, I think a lot of people disagree with me how I've built my organization, but I feel like it's the way that's worked for me. I've always known like I'm always going to be constantly going out and building. But some of these agents that are so fantastic, it's really hard for them to. And what's really easy for me is to get behind them and help them be in the spotlight and help them build their group too. So I know like I'll give you an example. I do monthly content shoots, and they're all about us getting content. Obviously, we do reels, we do professional photos, but they're also all about relationship building and having a tool to invite other people, other agents to come into our community to see what we do. And I even have random agents come from other brokerages or brand new agents that see it online and come. So the last one that we did 2 weeks ago, I had a couple outside agents and I had a brand new agent to Arizona come in and she's like, yeah, I'm looking for a team. She's like, I've been an experienced agent for 5 years in Seattle, but I just moved to Arizona. And I saw your thing online. I'm like, perfect. There's 3 team leads here. Let me introduce you to them. So she's going to be joining EXP, joining Connect and Cultivate. But what happened is I positioned my team leaders to be able to have an opportunity to meet somebody to grow their downline too. So I don't mind if somebody in my front line or in my downline meets somebody at my events and they go into their front line because it's a win-win for me. And sometimes I see people that get so caught up in their front line that they don't necessarily want to do that. And so even
Right.
if I see a connection, like I just had the girl that teaches on Thursdays for me, one of the top team leads here in the East Valley, she came in and I put her under another team lead because I wanted to collaborate with the 3 female team leads. I knew the power of what we could all do together. And so my group's kind of grown, not as fast in my front line, but overall, I grew to 350 in less than 3 years. But I lost 100 agents this year in one group. They were one group and they moved, and that was hard. But so I'm at 250 agents now.
Yeah, it's still pretty impressive, pretty remarkable as well. And so, what's a lesson there from losing, a third of your entire organization? What was kind of the aha and the lesson for you?
It was already a made decision before he came to me, and it was nothing I could do. There was nothing I could have done to stop it, and I think that the aha for me is just to keep moving forward. I still respect and really love those guys, but they felt it was a better move to go and go to a different brokerage and try to grow what they are growing there, and so. I try always to respect somebody when they leave because I always know I'm going to always be doing this. And so I want them to feel like they can always come back. But I would say that would be my lesson.
Yeah, and I know we've talked about designing this from a standpoint of authenticity. And my favorite definition of trust is just authenticity times time. And that really is what builds trust. And I think the trust in that you can help them accomplish what they're wanting to accomplish. So as you're kind of working with and mentoring and teaching and coaching other moms, other people coming into your organization, what are some of the kind of hey, if I was to give you a kind of play by numbers, a step-by-step process to be thinking about, what would be some like action items as people listening in, like, Kristen, yes, this is resonating. I really want to build this community that interacts, that collaborates. So what are some key initial steps that people need to think about as they're trying to design this?
Yeah, so I think it's asking them what's lacking in their community that they wish was there and how could they create it. We talked about consistency is key. So let's say I'm like, you know what, I hear it all the time, which is very shocking to me. People tell me that there's no mom communities in their area. So let's say it is the mom community. Then how are you showing up to the mom community in real estate and providing that room for them all to gather and collaborate? And be super and like focused on business, but also what's another element. I have a girl right now that I'm working with that she loves Jesus. So her whole thing is like, it's motherhood, Jesus, and real estate. And so she's creating her group around that. So her group is like, she's committing to every single quarter showing up to them. She didn't want to do it monthly. So she's doing a quarterly meetup for them where she's showing up and she dives into the Bible for 15 minutes. And then she's diving into some things that she's learned over about motherhood and that's really helped her. And then she dives into the rest of it all about real estate. And that is going to be her kind of in to grow this community and go out and like when she's prospecting, she'll be looking for people that have similar interests and inviting them into this group. So I think it's just coming up with whatever's authentic to you, coming up with a plan around it and then making sure you're sticking consistent to it. And if you show up at your first event and there's only 2 people there, that is very normal. You need to just keep with it because it will grow as you keep providing value. And I mean, my first content shoot was a year ago and there was 3 people there and now there's 50 people. There was more people that want to come, but I can't do it. So, just keep with it.
Yeah. So what is the agenda of the content shoot? Kind of what is it that you're talking about there? You had 3, now we're over 50, and you're putting up the stop sign for more people to come. What is something like that agenda type look like?
So we get there and everyone signs in. So the photographer I used to be that person that would like navigate and pull people aside to get photos. Now we have it to where you sign in and she'll call people out while we're all mingling. So we're like, let's say at a coffee shop, we're all drinking coffee, hanging out. We have somebody pulling people aside to do reels. They'll pull like 4 people aside at a time, go over trending audio and say, hey, you're going to do this, this, and this. And then we all do it together. You're pulling your phone out, getting content, because as a real estate agent, they're trying to be local experts. So we're trying to do it in like a hip, fun spot. I'm introducing people, and then the photographer just calls people over and gets their photos, and then that's it. It's for 2 hours. It's super fun. People love it. It's great for retention. It's a great invite tool. I love those.
Yeah, no, I love that. Where you make it, you just make it fun, right?
Oh,
It's
fun.
just, yeah, it's fun. It's getting them to where they can be comfortable, because that's some of the hardest things, right? Is just kind of, well, what content am I going to shoot? And then you're worried about it. But if you're in a safe, collaborative environment to where, you can just be you, I can see where that's really, really powerful and really powerful for the people attending.
Yeah, that's where I was like, when I started it, I was like, how are these people getting these cute photos in these downtown areas of themselves? And I'm like, why don't we'd start a group and we're going to be awkward together. And so it just kind of morphed over time to like hiring people in to do it. Now I don't even have to pay, people pay me. I have a vendor program. So people pay me monthly to be part of like the content shoots. So I have $1,500 a month coming in just for the content shoots, which allows me to go out and be able to hire in and bring other fun stuff into it.
Oh, I love that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, being able to monetize it at a high level, just because that's one of the things, and this is kind of what we were, that's what we were kind of talking about prior to the monetization and the goal of these events. And it's kind of that rule of thumb that no matter what you do, there has to be a primary objective. There has to be a secondary objective. Mm-hmm. And what is the monetization strategy? Because if you don't have those 3 boxes checked, then it's not sustainable. It's just something you're not going to keep pouring into. As much as you believe you want to. Compensation drives behavior. So you just got to make sure that you've got a clear objective, a clear goal to be able to really be intentional with those events.